All right, we are back again today talking auction draft for 2024. And this one a little different. We haven't done this episode before, but I think it's interesting. So it's our biggest auction draft gambles that can win you your league this year. Really no parameters behind this at all, right?
Mm-mm.
So, but these are just, they're gambles. For whatever reason, they're gambles. But if they hit, it could be in a really good position. So I got two. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to go Drake London. And the reason is, I think Drake London has a chance to be a really good receiver. I think a lot of people think he has that potential. He's shown some of it. He, again, hasn't had a good quarterback around him. And now with Kirk Cousins, you think maybe it's going to be there. But the problem is he's going for $25 on ESPN drafts right now, which is a pretty steep price for a guy who's literally not done it at all, right? I think he can do it. But that's why this is a massive gamble because, he's going for more than like Deebo Samuel and players like that, right? That's a lot of, he's going for $10 more than a Devontae Smith. He's going for $10 more than Jalen Waddle. That's a lot more money. But here's the big but though. If Kirk Cousins is that good with Atlanta and this offense works like it could, Drake London could jump and be one of the top receivers in the league. Absolutely. And then you got him for $25, which is at that point dirt cheap. Problem is, that's a lot of money to spend when you don't know. That's why it's a massive gamble, but you can see where the potential is and how he could make that leap. It's there. The talent, we think the talent's there. He might have the quarterback now. Should have a good offense. It could be really good. The problem is it's a tough sell for $25 sometimes. But are you willing to take that? We'll see. So Drake London, that's why he's my top one here for gambles because I can see the potential. I can see how it can work, but I also see how that can blow up in your face.
Without a doubt. Totally get that one. Yeah. I actually like that. I believe in him, but you're paying a hefty price to find out, like you said.
You are. That's why
that's a good one.
That's why it's a gamble. So, all right, who do you got?
This one, I'm going with a QB, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Look, right now, as far as average draft on the live, he's going for about $9. Not breaking the bank yet, but I do think that he is going to be, depending on the draft, much more pricey than that. He is going to be one of those guys where you don't really know what he can do. We saw flashes of it, and if what we saw was real, this guy is a top 3 quarterback because of his running ability. If he keeps getting injured, if he can't get his passing on track, or if he plays more games and defenses figure out how to deal with him, it could blow up in your face. There's a lot to worry about, but his skill set is just too intriguing not to think about. And right away he had multiple games above 20 points or whatever. And the way he rushes, I'm just, man, I tell you, it has those glimpses of Lamar before he broke out because of the dual threat. But Lamar even was in my mind, before he broke out, I think he had a couple of years under his belt. He was already a much better passer as far as what I was able to see. It's hard because Anthony Richardson had literally 3-4 games to show us something. So Lamar felt very much like, oh, we knew it was going to happen. Like, he's got all the skills in the world, both on, through the air and ground. It feels like Anthony Richardson is probably much more of the one trick pony a little bit. Like, he is going to rush and do very, very well. Can he pair it with the passing so he doesn't get clocked by the defense? I don't know. But he is one of those where he could win you a league if he performs the way he could.
I'm very, very intrigued by him this year. Problem is, in a lot of situations I'm in our leagues, I'm kind of looking probably at a cheap quarterback route this year, and honestly, he's getting out of that. Like, he's not that dirt cheap quarterback anymore, and he's going for about 9 on ESPN. He's going to go double digits in a lot of leagues, and that is, for a quarterback, it's risky for a guy who hasn't done it yet. But I think he could be really, really good for fantasy.
If he's one of those guys I would actually like to throw out early, because if he does go for, say, under $10, I actually think it's a very good idea to pair him with another quarterback, because in a running back situation, you can't really make up for a $50 guy, right? I can make a $10 guy work within it, and then I could also grab. We talk about all the other guys you can grab, but Aaron Rodgers or
Goff, Cousins,
Tua.
Exactly. There's a lot of those guys.
For a buck or two, and you have a solid backup.
All right, so my second guy, This one, people probably aren't going to think is much of a gamble maybe on the current price, but I just have a feeling it's going to go up and it could become more of a gamble, but could also win. So I'm just going to say Nick Chubb. And the reason if you look at current price, he's cheap, but this is really early. My thought on this is if you get some good news on him and it's starting to feel like it's trending in the right direction, that price is going to go up. It's going to get into the double digits. You're probably going to be in a lot of leagues where it actually does get to that point. And then even anything over $10 for Nick Chubb right now, if you draft him for a guy who's coming off a brutal knee injury, it's a risk. You're throwing money out there. I just really feel like this number is going to go up. But it doesn't happen all the time, but players do come back from this and are really good. If he does, and he's Nick Chubb, even 75% of Nick Chubb, you might get a top running back for dirt cheap at the end of the day. But if you're spending anywhere in the double digits for anybody, it can be a little bit of risk there. But there's league winning potential there. There really is. What's he going for right now? It's like 3.9, I think, on ESPN, right?
I don't believe
I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to keep going up, especially later drafts. If you hear the good reports in camp, if he's actually out there, it's going to go up and up and up and up. And then you got to decide, is it now too high where I can't take him because you still don't know if he's actually healthy?
He's another one that I would love to throw out ahead of time because I do think he's one of those guys that later on there will be two people that haven't spent their money, that have too much of it, and all of a sudden you're out of running back options. And he looks like one you're like, he could turn, like I could turn my team around. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw more money at him. And then all of a sudden he goes for 15 or something, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Just again, if he goes for what he's going for right now, that's not the gamble.
Right.
I just don't think that's real. I've seen it too many times. I don't think that price is real. I think he's going to go up, and then it's a gamble. I'm still don't know which way I want to go with it. I'm very intrigued, but I can't say for sure I want to take that risk yet. But wouldn't mind it if he stays cheap. I'll have him on my team. So
there's a lot. I was gonna say there's a lot of running backs down there that if you pick correctly, you're gonna be really happy. But it's hard to figure out who's gonna be who.
All right, who else you got?
The other one I want to talk about, I found this one very intriguing because no one really knows what to make of it because they're not talking about it, and that's Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, there's not much talk.
Right now he's going for $20 on live. I think he's supposed to go for a little more as far as his worth on Fantasy Pros and whatnot. Look, he has been a perennial top 10 guy, if not top 5 wide receiver in the league. He just comes from the Bills where he's the clear number one. His production slowed in the second half of the season, and you're wondering, is that an age thing? What happened to the Bills? He forced his way out. Is it going to be the same? He goes to the Texans. Everyone believes in CJ Stroud now, but you have a lot of mouths to feed all of a sudden. You also have Nico Collins, who kind of busted out. You have Tank Dell, who kind of even made his own claim. And Tank Dell, Nico, and him are all kind of in the same range all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And it feels like this is one where Diggs should be the clear kind of alpha number one wide receiver because of he's done it for so many years and whatnot. Nico, even though I like what he was able to do, I don't view him as like a guaranteed guy yet. And then Tank Dell, kind of the same thing. So it's one of those where I'm confused. Like maybe he's priced accordingly because his age is getting up there and he's about to be in a new system with a new quarterback. I shouldn't expect the same Stefon Diggs. The other part of me says this guy everywhere he's gone has produced. And he's played with multiple quarterbacks, even though both of those guys have been very good, right?
Yep.
No doubt about it. Whether you're talking about when he was at the Vikings or if when he was in Buffalo. But the fact he's only going for $20, all of a sudden you start wondering, like, am I getting what should be a $40 player for $20?
Oh, and this is the whole, this is why it's still, because that's still a good price. That's still a lot of money you're going to throw out there.
Right.
Which Stefon Diggs is it? Is the first 6 games last year, he was amazing. Yeah. He was number 2 receiver in the league through 6 games, only behind Tyreek, who was just on a ridiculous pace, right? So he was number 2 in the league through 6 weeks. He was 10 for 102, 7 for 66, 8 for 111, 6 for 120, 8 for 121, 10 for 100. Just killing it. And then what happened? That's the weird thing is what was the rest of the year? Was that age catching up or was it the offense? That's where the risk is, like, which way was it?
Yeah.
If it was just a change in scheme, man, the $20 is going to look amazing if you get him. If he's still there, he's 30. He'll turn 31, but I don't think that's ancient. But we've seen receivers lose it at that point. That's where it is. It's like, what player is he? Those first 6 weeks of last year, he was so good. And then, like you said, more of the risk too becomes there is two other guys there.
Yeah, if
So
there was no one else breaking out over there,
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm all in. Like,
Yep, there's
push
two
my
other
chips
guys.
in. But I'll be honest, all of those guys, those are the ones I could have easily gone the other way, where it's like players that are risky, they could win your league, but I'm hedging my bet. These ones I'm kind of saying like I like the bet. Like I
Yeah.
think it's worth it right now.
Yeah.
All four of the ones that we named.
Yeah, these are guys I actually, all of them I do like too. I'm just still, I mean, that's where it's the risk, because I still don't, to this day, knowing I like these guys, will I spend it? I don't know if I'll spend it yet. I think they're perfect examples then of their gambles, but they're gambles that I'm leaning a little bit towards that. But man, I like sure things, which there isn't sure things in fantasy, right?
Right.
We're always striving for that, but they really truly don't exist. So.
I want to name two more guys because they fit within this, but we don't have to go deep into them. One is Achane for sure.
Yeah, he was one I definitely thought of.
100%. I've already talked about
Yep.
him, and I said I'm hedging my bet against him. I think he's costing too much, but he is lightning in a bottle. Like, he could turn out to win you weeks and league, right? Without a doubt, he should be on the list. The other one is, even though he's a little more proven now, is Jahmyr Gibbs of the Lions. Look, there's a ton of mouths to feed. He looked the part, but you're paying a very high price for him. So if Montgomery dominates the goal line again, and he is not able to get in there, all of a sudden that could really put you off. But he could be the number one running back as well. So,
and honestly, I have one other name I'll throw out there just because I think it's the same kind of situation. There's a risk, but going for a life. It's Marvin Harrison Jr.
That one is intriguing.
We haven't talked a lot about him, and I don't think we even have a basis to know how to talk about it. It's a rookie, right?
He's a rookie, 100%.
So he's going for $30 right now. Is he
really going for 30?
30.
Oh, see, that's not okay.
So if he's truly a superstar from day one, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
But it's a rookie. So that's a major gamble.
See, that one is interesting because he's actually going for he's actually going higher than what Fantasy Pros has him, and that usually does not happen.
Yeah.
So Marvin Harrison is ranked as like the 14th best wide receiver. That'd be $26 in Fantasy Pros calculations. And I started looking at him, and I'm like, I do actually believe he could be a top 10 guy.
Yeah,
but once again,
he's the 11th.
I have a hard time believing he'd be a top 5.
Yeah.
And when you're already at 30,
it's a major risk. He's 11th off the board in ESPN right now. So $30 for, but if he's a superstar,
and let's be honest, I haven't seen too many players where he's one of those guys where I'm like, he might be. He absolutely might be. Like, year one, he could be a Beckham. He could be,
But you want to spend $30?
That's a little rich for my blood. Honestly, if you're mid-20s, all of a sudden I'd kind of be like, I'll take that gamble. But
yeah, it's interesting. But
especially with everyone else, like, there's so many other guaranteed quote unquote wide receivers. And let's be honest, like, if he's going for the same price as Garrett Wilson, where you talked about in another episode, I'm taking Garrett Wilson because I've seen the guy get 150 targets a year.
Yep. Yeah, these guys all have big potential. So, but all right, there we go. There's the auction draft gambles that can win your league. Talk to you guys next time.